In this film, Orhan Veli Kanık is at your age. Do you want to be friends with him? Friends, I am Orhan Veli Kanık. I'm a writer and poet. I'm one of the founders of the Garip movement, which changed the traditional structure of Turkish poetry. Would you like to know me better? I was born in 1914 in Beykoz, located on the Anatolian side of Istanbul. Where I lived always made me feel like I was in a quiet resort. If you happen to pass by Beykoz one day, while you are wandering around the neighborhood where I spent my childhood, inhale the smell of phosphorus, will you? I grew up with the smell of phosphorus and chirping sound of seagulls. I think you will like it too. I would also like to introduce you to my family. My mother's name is Fatma Nigar and my father's name is Mehmet Veli Kanık. My father is the conductor of the Presidential Symphony Orchestra and clarinetist. I grew up with music because of my father's profession. I guess you also love to listen to music. I was the first child in my family. I had two younger siblings, one boy and one girl. The name of my sister, whom I called Fırfırım, and who supported me throughout my life, was Firuzan. And my brother, who would become a humorist when he grew up, was Adnan. I loved theatre as well as music. Our house had a huge garden. We used to set a stage in the garden, invite the neighbours and play plays. I also recommend you to do what you love. It's really fun. While my days were spent with the theatre and music, I was continuing my education at the same time. My family placed great emphasis on our education. We used to work hard with my brothers to be successful and not to waste our family's efforts. My interest in literature started in primary school. The first person who noticed my interest was my primary school teacher, Mr. Sedat. He said that I was very talented in literature and he always encouraged me to write. I wrote my first story in my childhood years. My story was published in a magazine named Children's World. Some of you may not know what the story is. Let me explain right away. Story is a type of prose that usually consists of 5 to 10 pages, describing real or imagined events in an engaging way. I think you can try to write a little story too. All you need for this is your imagination, and of course your favourite pen, and a few pieces of paper. In your story, you can tell an event that happened to you, or a trip you took with your family, or even tell a story about a game you played with your favourite toy. Now, let's go back to my school years. I was also very lucky about my friends. Oktay Rifat and Melih Cevdet Anday, one of my best friends, also loved literature, and that's how we became close. This closeness has grown so much that we published a literary magazine called Sesimiz in order to express our views and publish our poems. We, 3 young poets, came across many valuable teachers in this literary journey we embarked on. One of our teachers, Ahmet Hamdi Tanpınar, has always guided us with his advice. My school life was spent writing poetry with my friends and participating in the theatre activities of our school in the spare time. I took important roles in many theatre plays. When I finished my school, I translated the theatre plays into Turkish and contributed to the meeting of foreign plays with Turkish audiences. I loved writing poetry so much that I've always holding my pen in my hand, giving life to the verses. My poems were published in the most famous magazines of the period such as Varlık, Ses, Genç, and as my works reached people, the desire to write increased even more. When we came to May 1941, the Garip selection was published. Garip is considered a turning point in Turkish poetry. I had 24 poems and a preface in the book. We wrote this piece together with my best friends, whom I just introduced to you. Guys, we started the movement called Garip with this piece because we're advocating that understanding that had taken place in Turkish poetry until that day should be changed, and the beauty of utterance should be taken as a basis. We brought a whole new perspective to poetry. We brought it, but our desire to change the rules that have been going on for many years was not welcomed by some circles. In particular, the verse, "Pity it happened to Süleyman Efendi," in Garip caused great controversy in the literature world. Besides those who disliked it, there were also many who said the most beautiful lines written in Turkish. While the discussions were going on, the verse became so popular that it entered the ferries and trams and became an idiom. Now I would like to tell you about a translation I have made with pleasure for you, which I am sure will interest you all. Do you know tales from La Fontaine? Advice tales in which most of the heroes are animal. I translated this famous work of French literature into Turkish. Don't forget that you will make me very happy if you read it one day, okay? I directed my life exactly at your age. I have done research, gained knowledge, and work hard in the fields that I am interested and loved. I was interested in the things that I liked, found fun and enjoyed as much as I studied in my lessons. Balancing the two was essential on the road to success.